Content creation is dead. Hi, I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips, and the biggest challenge I see going on today, especially with artificial intelligence, is that copywriters, content producers, creators can produce more content than can be consumed by your audience. Not only can you create more content, but much of that content is filler. It is not meant to generate leads or generate sales because the tech companies, the search engines, the social media has convinced you and your clients that volume matters. Now, why do they do that? I've talked about it in other programs. The search engine, the social media platforms, all they have is your content and a promise that if you post content on their site that you'll make money. Now, they know how to, with the attention economy, they know how to make money from it. So what I want to share with you is a methodology that I've used over the years. My clients have used it. It is extremely profitable, but it is not a welcome methodology for copywriters and marketers who get paid to create content, especially if your mindset is content is king. Content is not king. You can't take content and deposit it at the bank. Cash flow is king. And if you have cash flow in a business, that means you had sales. That means you've generated leads. That means you've made meaningful connections with an audience who can buy. I'm going to share with you 10 strategies that you can use in order to repurpose content. Now, again, you're probably a little upset because you want customers to pay for the 50 articles for a weekly newsletter or the 12 features for a content site. And it's okay if you have that mindset. You're probably not going to make it here because AI can do that right now quick. They can punch out articles. They can punch out stuff because, again, if the client doesn't have a criteria to measure success, then anything counts. It makes you a commodity copywriter. It makes you a commodity marketer. I want you to shift the mindset from being just someone who produces copy to someone who produces leads and sales. And I know it's a little scary because it's harder to do. If you've been writing content with no accountability, then maybe you do want 10 cents a word. Maybe you do want 20 cents a word. Maybe you want to go work for somebody else and write whatever they say and be creative. What I'm talking about right now is not being creative. It's being constructive. It's generating leads. It's generating sales. Now, the basis of this is in my program, Recycle Your Marketing. I tell the story about how I've had high-paid copywriters create sales letters, and then from that sales letter have digested it down into lead generation pieces, articles, and other materials that drive what? It drives the sales. Now, I generate the leads so that I can keep going back to the same audience. I build up lists of thousands of leads, hundreds of leads, tens of thousands of leads. None of that matters if those leads are not converting into customers. So the number one thing you want to make sure you're doing is coding your copy for testing and attribution. So you create a piece of copy, you put it online, whether it's a sales letter, a lead piece, or a piece of content. How do you know that that content works for the purposes of building a business? Okay, because what we talk about here is how do you get from piecemeal work for hire copywriter to profitable agency? Well, it's going to be your systems and it's going to be your tools. And what is the best system for marketing copy? Well, it's a campaign. So if you build your campaigns for testing, you're going to have your front-end content. You're going to identify which landing page brings in organic traffic. That's just the basics. Which landing page brings in organic traffic? Now, of the landing pages that bring in organic traffic, which ones generate leads or are part of the interactions from a visitor that becomes a lead? Now, which leads become sales? And so what were the steps after they were a lead that contributed to their sale? Now, there's many different ways of doing attribution, but if you don't code your copy or design the structure of a website or have a mailing series that's consistent, because again, if you're just online, you're missing out of the almost 50% of the population that is actually not using the internet to solve business problems. Now, they're using the internet to sell to their customers. They're using the internet for research, but they actually have sales presentations with live human beings. They have brochures, booklets, special reports, even books that they're putting out into the marketplace in print. If you aren't properly coding for testing and attribution, you're not going to know what works and what doesn't. So that letter you're mailing to a house list to introduce the next product, that prospect newsletter you're mailing to a house list. See, these things cost more money. Customers are willing to invest better in a copywriter. But if everything is coded, you can demonstrate that, hey, this letter got you 7 phone calls. This letter got you 8 phone calls. If we put them in this order, the phone calls stay consistent, or the phone calls increase in value. If we are dropping names from our prospect list as they request specific information and now putting them in a funnel for the specific information, then what you're going to see is you're going to lower your cost of mailing, you're going to lower your cost to interact with people who are prospects, and you're going to be able to focus with specific funnels on the individuals who are inquiring. The individuals that inquire eventually buy product, and now that they bought product, they come off the inquirer list and they become part of the buyer's list. Now, somebody who during January and February had moved from a prospect list into a inquirer's list isn't going to see all the content that happened during that period, and that's okay. It's prospect-oriented content, not inquirer-oriented content. And so if they ever come out of being an inquirer, maybe they don't buy, and they go back into your prospect list, they see the exact same content. It's not the exact same content for individuals. It's new content to the individuals because there was a time period they were not on your list. See, a lot of folks don't want to recycle their marketing. They want a new article every month for 12 months, and then they're going to get more new articles rather than testing and coding so that they know which of the 12 articles they sent in the last 12 months are actually worth sending again to new people. And so this is very important. You can do one video, you could do one sales letter, you can do one content series and give it to different audiences. Now, the demographics of the audience may be exactly the same, but it's different people on the list. Remember, these lists are human beings. They're people with decisions to be made and wallets in many cases, but we want to focus on the ones with decisions because when they make a decision to do business with you over anybody else, they'll take out the wallet. So how do we get one, let's say you do one long form video sales letter script, and then you break it up into different podcasts or segments. So it's an hour-long script broken up into 5 to 10-minute chunks. Those chunks go out. They're coded to the main 1-hour script. The 1-hour script makes an offer, goes to an order form. Do you see what we're doing here? We're building campaigns. It's sometimes the same content, but used in different ways. And the way we do that is by choosing common sizes and formats. So if you're going to sit down with a principal, that's somebody who's a subject matter expert, that's a consultant, that's a business owner, that's a selling professional for a high-ticket service, and you're going to interview them, then plan for a long-form interview that contains multiple components, and then break out those components to put into the marketplace for informing customers, for helping them with decision making, for educating people about a certain product or service. Drive all that back to the main campaign. The main video sales letter, the main sales letter, the main presentation. And so now you're going to get people who have had a taste of the information, and they might have got a taste on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. They might have got it on the website of the company you're working for. They might have got the content on someone else's website as a blog post or guest post. All of that drives to the main sales engagement. Now, I like to do it through a name squeeze where you're going to get an opt-in before you give them the hour-long presentation, because you might find people are dropping out of the hour-long presentation, again, because you're testing and got attributions. You know that the typical video, 50% of the people are dropping off after 20% of the video. And so that might give you a reason to drop a note to somebody, send them back to the pieces, or give them the video in chunks. Again, we're using common sizes so we can write one video sales letter or one sales letter, and then we are now syndicating it through breaking it into parts. Now, there's another concept here about common sizes. Did you know a TikTok 9:16 video also works as a Facebook short, a YouTube short, an Instagram reel, and other platforms? Did you know an Instagram post works on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn? So what you're seeing here is a path of focus where you can create something once and use it many times. Now, the customer doesn't have this mentality of recycle your marketing. Okay? This is very important. I want you to pay attention. Your customer wants something that's new because clients have seen their work over and over again and they get tired of it. They don't understand that it's a moving parade, that they are walking past a new audience as they continue from point A to point B. That new audience has never seen those pieces before. So when you recycle your marketing and you use common sizes and you put things in different mediums and you code and test, you're going to know what works and what doesn't. So are your Facebook leads converting better than your YouTube leads? What? You don't know where your leads are coming from? Well, then you got to get the analytics set up. As a copywriter, as a marketer, you go from freelancer, you go from paper word, you go from struggle to agency very quickly when we're looking at campaigns, when we're looking at sales letters, when we're looking at customer research. And if you're going to do content, you can still write content if that's what you like to do, but you're writing a series of 6 items. You're writing 12 newsletters. You're writing, and that's how I hire people. I'll hire somebody for 52 email newsletters. Okay, now I might hire 2 people, 26 newsletters, and then I'll revise everything to put it in that one voice, and then I'll put them in some kind of logical sequence, and then deliver that to my prospects or my client, because what that gives them is a better, more holistic view of things. But then I'll take the chunks of common topics, turn those into special reports. So I didn't have to write the content again. I'm just reusing it in a different way. Now, with revisions, with deliberate effort, you're going to get better results. See, because this is a deliberate method, not a spastic throw content on a website and see what happens. This is, who is our customer? What are their interests and desires? What problems do they have to overcome? How have they considered overcoming those problems that haven't worked? And then what is our recommendation? In our program about sales letter formulas, you can write 50, 60, 70-page sales letters. Rewrite those sales letters and create a book, a special report. Rewrite that sales letter to extract chunks to make lead generation pieces, to make an email series, to make inquiry-related content. Extract the inquiry-related content to make prospect-related content. Do you see? We're using the same content, the same themes, the same keyword pools, the same long-tail keywords. We're actually taking what works in our marketing because we're coding and we're attributing leads and sales to content or to engagement funnels or to activities. We can now take our best practices and reapply. Now, see, we're focusing on key elements here. I'm giving you these 10 tactics here. By the way, I'm checking them off on this list as we go, because these key elements are the message, the tone, the emotional connections that you will then push through all of your content. When that visitor comes to your website, when they receive a letter in the mail, when they read about you in a newsletter, when they see you on someone else's website, they want to feel that they're in the right place at the right time. And then when you ask for a call to action, when you say, hey, if I've touched you today and the problems that we've discussed are hurting your business and limiting your ability to get new customers, well, raise your hand. I got a free gift for you. They get the free gift. It's congruent with the material and the offer and the lead page. And now they're saying, well, I'm in the right place. If I want to solve these problems, I talk to this person. I don't go look for more information. See, if all you're doing is throwing content out there and you're spastic about it, they have it disconnected from the search mentality, and you want them in the finding mentality. You want them in the defining the problem mentality. You want them in contacting an expert to take the next step to solve the problem mentality. And you do that by loading and scheduling campaigns rather than just splashing stuff on a website. Now, campaign has a specific structure. And I've described it here. Prospect, present, close, upsell. Okay, so we're structuring content. Now, not all your clients are going to want to do this, because some of your clients are hiring you as an excuse about why their company's not making money. And I know you've seen this before, that you go hire a copywriter as a last-ditch effort to finally make sales when they got a product that nobody wants and they've got a way of reaching out to customers that they're not actually reading buyers. You want to structure the campaign to have the right proper elements, to have the right congruency throughout the campaign, to have everything tagged in attributes. And I understand this can be overwhelming, especially for your clients. So you have to help them understand that this is about investing money in copywriting, not just getting some content. If they want to get content today, they can go to AI, and AI will give them so much content that they won't be able to publish it. Okay, it will bury them in content because AI will give you an answer for every question. Now, believe me, I use AI in research. I've shared with ways for you to use AI, but if you don't take the content and put it in a campaign and put it in front of qualified buyers, then all you have is spastic. You're just throwing it out there, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. You need results. Now, you might be saying, Justin, this is a lot of stuff. How will I, as a freelance copywriter, as a freelance marketer, as somebody who's like a one-person agency, how will I get the money that comes with doing campaigns? Because customers are willing to invest in campaigns. Not all customers. There are customers that don't know what they're doing. There are customers who are just happy to get anything as a sales letter or anything as a lead piece. They cannot differentiate between good copy and bad copy. But those who are investing in marketing, those who are steady and ready customers, they need you to be able to take action, and to do that, you need a team. Now, as soon as you add an assistant, or you add a somebody who's compiling information for you, somebody who's reformatting. Remember, I said a TikTok 9x6 layout format can work on many platforms. You don't have to go edit the video and find these little TikTok clips and extract them from that. You can have the right tools. You can have staff do that for you. You can even have a freelancer do it. Because what I didn't say is that a piece of copy properly developed with the right message in the right place in a campaign is not valuable. See, if you've got any content just thrown up on a website, it's completely useless. But if you've got the right piece of content in the right place, and you know how to differentiate good copy from bad, you can manage the subcontractors to help you put things in place. Now, I've gotten some six-figure copywriting and technical writing jobs. Now, remember, I'm doing copywriting and I'm doing technical writing. In the past, I've ghostwritten people's master's papers. And so in my subject matter expertise, I'm able to write technical papers and documents that the customer uses for, they're selling $100,000, $200,000 service. I'm able to write that up for them. So it doesn't really matter whether you're doing ghostwriting, copywriting for marketing, copywriting for white papers and reports, or actually ghostwriting for larger editorial projects. You can bring in a team to help you be more efficient, more effective, and more focused. Now, who might you bring on your team? Well, if you're going from freelance copywriter to agency, it's first going to be a personal assistant that helps you with the scheduling. They help you with your general support activities, your overhead, because it could get expensive hiring copywriters without giving them clear direction. And if you're also working on the piece, you'll need to have collaborative editing systems in place. You'll need to have a way to approach your collaboration, where if you start with a virtual assistant who's primarily focusing on the overhead of your business, if you focus on a bookkeeper who's managing your accounts and making sure everybody gets billed on time, these are instant productivity boosts like I talk about in the staffing arbitrage program. But it could go further. Like I said, somebody can take a long-form video and for pennies on the dollar, because they don't know what we're talking about here today, can turn that video into like an hour-long video into 5 and 10-minute segments for podcasts, 3 to 4 minute segments for quick clips, under 1 minute clips. Now, there are tools available, and I'm not going to talk about the specific tools because the tools are as unique as the individuals. But there are specific tools that can look at the analytics of a YouTube video and identify for you which segments of that video had high engagement, and those are the pieces you're going to pull out. So the analytics on your website can tell you what content on your website is attributing to leads. Remember, because we're focusing on leads and sales, and then you can produce more content that is lead related. I'm working on a project for a content site. It's a newsletter. As you know, I'm a publisher, so I have the skills that publishers need, and I'm driving down into their editorial calendar, cross-referencing it with their analytics and their search activity, so the Google Search Console, the Bing Search Console, and I'm deriving for them new editorial topics that are relevant to their platform that are highly related to the leads and sales they are creating on that website. Do you think that pays per word? You think I'm getting paid by the hour? No, that's a 5-figure project, because I'm going to set up 12 to 24 months of content for their team to go out and focus on what converts rather than, what creative stuff they want to write. So we're reining in their in-house creative team. Now, maybe in the future, they're going to ask me to go ahead and manage that team, or they're going to ask me to go ahead and bring in specialists in order to do the video. So, for example, the fastest way to recycle your marketing is to take a landing page that works really well and then turn it to a podcast. Now, the podcast points to the landing page, but it is on the same theme, it's on the same angle, it's on the same approach that gets someone to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested, click this link, goes to the landing page, fills out the information, gets the sales letter, and moves forward. Do you see how this works? So all the technical elements of adding subtitles and exporting videos and uploading videos and all that stuff can be done by a team member, while you're still focusing on the one skill that you have that very few other people have, which is the ability to convert words on a page to sales, words on a page to leads. Now, where should you focus your skill set? Like I say, project management, the ability to write copy that sells, or at least recognize copy that sells, and then ultimately the interconnection of individuals who have specialized talents that can turn what you know works, your best practices, into more leads and sales. Now, I've covered 10 key actions. I want you to listen to this podcast again with a notepad in front of you and lay out the 10 key actions. If you fax in a one-page, or you scan and email in a one-page key actions sheet, and you get the 10 actions right, I'll bonus you a free consultation. I'll sit down with you for 15 minutes. We'll talk about your business. We'll see how we can get you more revenue, how we can get you more clients, and how we can drive outcomes. Now, a lot of the folks that listen to my podcast are freelance copywriters and marketers who want to build an agency, but I have a large number of in-house marketing directors, vice presidents of sales and marketing who haven't been able to get the permission to hire more people to build out their team, but they're leveraging copywriters, marketers, and other folks. This works for you as well. When you repurpose your content on multi-channels, so you take what works online and you put it in print, test it. Got to test it though, because it's a different audience online than in print. When you take long-form content, which is the only thing you should be producing, and then divide it up, split it up, test ideas and concepts, break a sales letter into 5 parts, test each part individually, you will find best practices that now make marketing an investment rather than some spastic. You want to be deliberate about campaigns. Campaigns is the operating system of successful lead generation and successful sales. We're going to plug in content to those campaigns. We're going to plug in series of letters. We're going to have standalone and campaign-wide conversion rates. We're going to understand our cost per lead, cost per sale, customer lifetime value, and then we're going to be able to break that down into segments, which are prospect, present, close, and upsell. And now we're going to have content specific for prospects, content specific for inquirers, prospect specific for people who landed on the landing page but did not buy. And then all these different content comes from our content vault and pool of key themes, key elements, and that is how you build a business. Cash flow comes to those who have the structure in order to plug new materials in. And so think about this. If you've got an email campaign of 37 email messages, and you know the open rate of each message, the attribution to sale for each message, so these are leads on your list, and you know that people click through certain emails to buy products because there's an offer in that email, And you also know the relative value of each of those letters. So in my marketing system, I can see that that letter attribute to X number of dollars in revenue. You can do the same thing at landing page. You can do the same thing at everything else. That 36 messages can be trimmed down by first taking out everything that doesn't convert. Of course, you want to make sure it's been there long enough and it's had enough opens and it's had enough people, because let's say the letter has not had any opens. It's got a low open rate, low conversion rate. We're going to change the subject lines. We're going to change what shows up above the fold. We're going to change some of the things that have to do with before they click. Okay, so again, we're systematically looking at this and optimizing according to the information that we have. We're making sure that all the content has ways of gathering information. And now you've trimmed that down, but the things that were very good in that series of 36, you're going to clone those. So it doesn't matter if you're a copywriter or marketer. It doesn't matter if you're the vice president of marketing, the marketing director, or the owner of a company. What I've just shared with you here right now means less money going out to create content, more money coming in creating sales. Think about this. If content was king, then Google would basically write content rather than have you write content as an unpaid contractor with the promise of sending you organic traffic. See, think about this. Think about this. You're writing content and hoping, wishing, praying that someone shows up at your site. Some of your content works. You got that 20% that creates 80% of results. But you keep just writing new stuff. Why? Why? Let's focus on the 20% that works. Let's repeat that. Let's build out themes. Let's build out audience profiles. Let's write content around the sales and leads, because those are behavioral changes, so that we can get more from a few pieces of content rather than a lot. Now, again, you're probably going to spend the same amount of money overall. The spend is usually the same. If you've got a $10,000 marketing budget for marketing collateral and materials, marketing tools, hiring consultants, then you're going to spend $10,000 a month. The big difference here when you recycle your marketing, when you understand how to repurpose content, is that there is a point where you spent $10,000 this month, but now you get back $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in profits over the following months to recover your investment in copy that works. And then you're no longer spending the budgeted money. Now, I would like you to put that aside. It's very important to put that aside if you want to scale. But you're no longer spending the budgeted money each month of $10,000, because you spent $10,000 this month, and within 30 days, within 90 days, within 120 days, the length of your sales cycle, you've gotten every penny back and then some. Now you're looking at return on advertising spend. You're governing your content development by return on investment. And the reason you budget out or you reserve that $10,000 a month, even if you're recovering it in 30 days or 2 weeks, is because you're going to find something that works and you're going to be able to double down. That series of 36 articles, when you find the 5 that work and consistently create sales, you'll have money set aside so that you can hire somebody to write 5 more. Put them in the series, take out the ones that aren't converting, put up some test cases, do some A/B splits, and get results. You want to be cash flowing your copy, not creating more of it. And then this is somebody who put 23 years of their writing in one place and has 24,000 articles put together. And some of them are reports, some of them are just notes or metadata. But again, even if I think it's 1,305 articles that I've published on my own sites. And again, 24,000 is part of other people's content too. I've written content for other people, which I still have rights to use or otherwise recycle. But again, 1,300 pieces of content aren't necessary to make sales. I can learn what I need to know out of 100. Now, over 23 years, it makes more sense, but you don't have 23 years to figure it out. You've got a few months or a few weeks before somebody knocks you off, because again, they're going to take your ideas and concepts, they're going to go over to artificial intelligence, and they're going to just vomit content on a website, of which some of it will work. But they won't have the marketing reserve. They won't have an understanding of turning over the dollars. They won't have a campaign to keep those customers. They may not even be asking for conversion by offering something of value to get an opt-in, or offering a product or service in their option. They may be relying on the dream and fantasy that content is king because Google is every so often throwing them a little advertising dollars, every so often throwing them a little traffic. You've got to break this habit. It is addictive to create content because it feels like you've done something, but it's even more valuable to have leads and to have sales. I know this has been a long podcast, but I'm passionate about this topic. Repurposing your content, recycling your marketing, having structure, having focus elevates you from just, slinging copy, paid per word, trading hours for dollars, to actually having leverage in the marketplace, to actually having cash flow in a business. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. If you need help in this specific area or you simply have questions, we are here to support you. We're here at www.adbriefings.co.uk. When you go to that website, you can join a free newsletter or you can ask your questions. With what I've shared with you today, listen to it again, take intense notes, take action. There is no excuse for you to be writing the next piece of copy. If the framework of a campaign gives you direction and focus, the audience segmentation, the customer avatars, all those things give you focus. So you can stop trading hours for dollars and you can stop trading words for pennies. You can start getting results with words that sell. That's what we're here to help you do, to help you transform freelance or frustration into agency. Not just a marketing agency, but actual agency that gives you personal freedom, the ability to write copy that actually sells, and to know what copy works and what doesn't. Agency creates results. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next podcast.